Here's a great card that can be used with the Lilly Impressions DSP.
Good evening, Renee Ewart here, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I have been getting lately my inspiration from Facebook and Pinterest and YouTube. So my first card is this one that I want to show you. And Jan Brown did a similar one in Magnolia and with Magnolia Lane DSP, and she did a 6x6, and I wanted to go ahead and make sure that I had one that would fit in a standard envelope. So this card is a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and it does open. And when you do have this card and make this card, you will need an extra sheet of cardstock within the card, no matter if the card is light or anything else, because of the weight of the front of the card. So this is going to be the card. It's really cool because it can fit in an envelope. So it does lie flat, and I'm going to show you that. And this is how it would lie flat, like this, all right? And then you would open it up this way, of course. Again, here we go, sorry. And so this would be the card. You have to really burnish those edges to keep it flat. That is one thing that you will have to work on. All right, so this is that card. This was actually the second one that I made with the Lilly Impressions Designer Series paper. The very first one I made was this one. And this one I did kind of a different orientation than she did. And so, for example, this side said sending love, and this side said happy birthday. So it depended on what side you had it up on. But also, again, it opens up again, and it opens up to the cardstock so that it can stand. It lies flat differently as well, because the orientation is different. And what happened here is that you'll see that the two face one direction and the other two face the other direction, while on the Jan Browns, they face every time a corner. So, and I will show you that when I make these. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at the paper. I did decide to use the Lilly Impressions, and I intend to use the B Designer Series paper that we got in the Sale A Bration catalog, because of course by the end of March all of this paper has to be pretty much used up. As a demonstrator, of course, we really don't want to use it because nobody can buy it. So this is great for projects right now. It is perfect to do for classes, anything, or if you have your own and just doing on your own, it's great to use this up this way. I think it's really fun, and I'm really happy with it all. So let's look at the cardstock and how this works out. All right, I'm going to take this down now. And here we are. We're right here. I'm going to put those two away and put that up there. Okay, so what we have is our basic cardstock, which is going to be a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, so that obviously it's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. That means it's 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. All right, and then this sheet of stock paper, which is the Whisper White Heavy Stock, is a 4 by 4, which will be placed inside the card, which is really a must if you're going to have it stand up. Then what I do is I'm going to have another Whisper White piece of cardstock, and that's going to be a 4 1/8 by a 4 1/8, and that'll hug that Roccoco Rose cardstock that I am using for this. All right, and then on top of that will be layered the 4 by 4 Lilly Impressions Designer Series paper. All right, then on this is when I'm going to go ahead and start building those little 4 sections. And so the 4 sheets of Designer Series paper that I decided to use was from again, obviously the Lilly Impressions. Everything's going to come from the Lilly Impressions because it all matches and it all goes together. It's amazing, all of these colors and all of this stuff, and you go, oh my gosh, it's not going to work, and it does work. It's great how they figure this stuff out. But anyway, this is going to be 3 1/2 by 1 3/4. Each of these strips are going to be, and you need 4 to make the pop-ups on these cards, okay? So then after that, what I'm going to need is the actual little card on the pop-up mechanism, and that is going to be 1 3/4. Here it is, 1 3/4. Yes, it will come. I'm having a 1 3/4. Each of these cardstocks are 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, and of course I have 4 of those. All right, so one of the things, as you saw, is I did use the dies from the lovely Lily Pad dies. I did get the bundle. I did get the dies, and I have played with those dies a lot, and I just love them. And so what I did here is, you can see I took the small Lily Pad and cut it out and then stamped it with the clear stamps, with the photopolymer stamps. It's so easy to stamp these because you can see through. So I can cut these out and then stamp them afterwards using a small block. It really is quite easy. And then, of course, I used the smaller Lily flower from that to make that these different dies. So I decided today that I would show you quickly how I do this, how I actually go ahead and make those dies. Oh, wait, one more thing. I did use this paper for my pop-up section, and so I cut 1-inch circles, or punched out 1-inch circles to use as my stops, and you will see that, and I need 4 of those. If you have a 1/2 inch, that'll be plenty big, or if you have a little small punch flower like the new flower in the Sale A Bration catalog, if it's appropriate with what you're using, you can use that as well. These are just going to be little holders for the pop-up, just like you would do in an easel card. All right, you need a little pop-up support. All right, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to bring my stamp apparatus in front of us to show you how I actually do this. And I have a tendency to like to put in more than one item at a time. I hate to just roll one thing through. So what I do is, and hopefully, let's see how we're going to make sure that you see that. I'm going to move this a little bit more forward. Make sure, yeah, there you go. So obviously I have my standard plates. I do have the Big Shot. I got it last year right before it sold out. Now this is interesting what I do. So what I want is, I want this, and I want this one on top because of the way I want it to poof out, the way I want to cut it out so it looks nice. But on this one, if I do this, it won't poof out correctly, so I have to put it underneath. So I do. I just put it right underneath. It doesn't matter, just put it right underneath. I can feel it where it is. I can feel that it's right here. I can feel that that's right there. I know I could get another one, another lily pad right there. So I'm good to go. So all I do is I leave it there just like that. I close it up. It's that easy. And then I roll through. Now I know people have been having troubles with their plates, bowing and stuff, and I've been working on different ideas. I haven't figured it out yet. I'm hoping that someday I will. You see now I poofed that one out. All right, so that one worked. And then this one worked also. Of course, I'm gonna have to get that one out because I'm gonna need my scissors. If you have, of course, your tool pick, that's always fantastic. Tool pick works perfectly. I do have one. I don't have it nearby though right now. I rarely have it nearby. I should have it closer to me. And then there you go, poof that out. So I basically am going to do 4 of those. And so I can do both of these at the same time, no problem. So again, it's not really as big of a deal as people think about putting things, you know, and taping and all this kind of stuff. The most important thing is that once you have the hang of the machine, you can feel it right there. I'm feeling my little die right there, so that's good. And then all I'm gonna do is put this other one right down here. Once I feel that, and I feel good about that, I'm gonna just put this plate down, and then I'm gonna roll it through. And I can do, again, 2 at a time, which makes me a very happy camper. I surely don't wanna do 1 on one side and 1 on the other side and all that kind of stuff. Again, I'm gonna show you how easy it is to stamp these 2 with the Lilly pad stamp, and you'll see that that is not a big deal at all, and you should be able to do that readily. Oh, where did my, I don't think I put that in right. Okay, did not put that in right. I think I put that in on upside down, which is okay, because what I'm gonna do, I did put that upside down. Yeah, I did. So what I'll do is I'm gonna put that back on there. I just put it up, I didn't put it on correctly. I'm just gonna real quick push this through and get that one done. I'll get that one out. So that's what happens when you talk. There it is. There's my pretty little flower. So there you go, and so I have 2 of those. I don't think you need to see me do all of these, so I will probably cut the tape. So now we have all of these 4 cut, and the paper that I used to cut these out of was the paper that's going to be part of my base, all right? And so that's the other side, that's the one side, the lily pad is this side, and the flowers are on this side. So also what I have a tendency to do now, I'm trying this out. I've seen people use magnets and all kinds of things. I didn't want to go on eBay. I wanted to find something locally that was fairly cheap. I did go to Hobby Lobby, and for $3, I got these strips, and I am able to literally just put the whole sets together this way, which makes me a very happy camper. Of course, this doesn't help me remember the names of the dies, which now I might have to go write down the name on the side, or do I? Oh, no, 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 I think, no, I do have the name. That's what I did, yeah. See, and then on the, so now this side has the stamp set name, and then this side, yes, I did. I went ahead, I remember now, I forgot. I went ahead and put the Lilly pad die's names, so I do have the die's names. That's right, I forgot I did that. So I'm really happy with that. I think it's going to make it much easier for me, and it also allows me to use the Lilly pad, the dies a lot more. Of course, I love this die right here, it's gorgeous. Anyway, all right, so enough said for that. Let's go ahead and start working with our card. I think what I'm going to do is when I'm ready for these, I'll bring these back out and I'll show you how to stamp those, since that's the only stamping we're going to do. But I think I'm going to build the card right now for you. So I can go ahead and put the inside of the card in, and we can use, I'm not sure that I have much Tombow left. Let's see. I do like my Tombow. I've been using what I call the sister glue. If you saw my last video, it's a Tombow from the Tombow family. But you know, I really don't like it as much as this. I tried it out. I was just trying it out to see, and I much prefer the Tombow, to be honest. I like when it dries how it sits. Okay, so this is the card that's going to go on the inside, and this is the 4x4, and so all I'm going to do is make sure that that's straight in there, and there you go. And that's my 4x4, and that's the inside of the card, and that's pretty much it. All right, so then what I'm going to do is, this is 4 and an 1/8. So this does hug this card for sure. All right, so this is 4 and 1/8. And this is, I'm not even sure you really have to put this piece on, but I do like it. That teeny tiny border, I do like that teeny tiny border. So, yeah, it's a tight squeeze. All right, it's okay, it's good, it's good, it's good, it's good. All right, so that's good. So we have that piece down, so that's fine. All right, so then our next piece that we're going to put on there then is this little border right here. And I mean, we're going to put on this piece of DSP. Of course, we're going to put it on straight. Kind of hoping it has a memory. This is where it belongs. I think that one's empty. And so, you know, that stuff that has a memory, I believe in memory. Things have memories, like muscle memory. This is a tight squeeze. So yeah, that's good though. That's better, that's nice. So there you go. And that's the beginning of the card. So that's just the beginning of it. There you go. Fairly simple. So far so good, right? Now comes the hard part. All right, so what you want to do is, you do have to fold these a certain way. These are your pop-ups, okay? And the side that you want down and facing, okay, onto the card. I want this side, I don't want this side. That's the side you're gonna fold in half towards yourself here. So you fold that in half, take your time, make sure that it's well folded in half, and you're going to fold each of these in half. And then you're gonna make sure that you get a good fold on these. These do need a good fold. You can use a pencil, but of course you can use your bone folder. So you're gonna fold each of those in half the same way. Make sure of that. So there's that. There's this. And really the important thing is this is halved. Make sure that you make good halves. Don't be sloppy about this part. You do need to be pretty. Oh, see, there I went again. I went on the wrong side. I do that. This is the side you want. This is the side you want. No. Huh? Those two sides look the same. I did never notice that. That's kind of funky. Okay. And then this. So the side you want, fold on it. The side you don't want ends up on the outside. Okay? So what you want is on the inside. Then what you're going to do is you're going to have to take your time again here, because what you're going to do is you're going to take that, once it's in half, you are going to go ahead and fold this in half, okay? You want to make sure that you fold it so the edge from the score line that you just made, the half score line, that these are totally aligned, and that you get your point, that you get it right through the middle of the point. It is not that hard. It just takes time. And it has to be the same way. Everybody has to be folded the exact same way. So I'm gonna fold it this way. So I fold it in, right, towards myself, and then I'm gonna fold it again this way. Okay? So I'm gonna take that piece. That is important. If you watch her video for her 6x6 card, you'll see she talks about that as well, and it is important. She goes ahead and scores it. I really don't think you need to score it. I just think you need, for me, actually doing this is easier than scoring it and then folding it. This is much easier for me. So that's what you got. So that's what it would look like, okay? And then you set these aside so they all look the same. They all look exactly the same like that. You make 4 of these. So again, I'm just gonna simply fold that in and then fold that in again. And I'm just gonna make sure that I get to that score line and I get to that tip so that basically everything meets, right? That's all you gotta do is make sure it all meets at the edge. You're gonna make sure that it meets at that edge, and you're gonna make sure that it meets at this edge. I'm sorry, I always lose my camera. This edge right here, that edge. So you make sure it meets this edge and that edge. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. All right? So once you've got that folded, you want to make sure that that one flap, and it has to be the same flap. All right. So, and so, the end looks like this. They all have to look the same, because otherwise you won't get the right rotation on the cards. So that's kind of a big deal. Okay, so again, just make sure, and actually you could do it this way. It might be easier if you take it like this and then fold it like this, because it'll be easier to meet your ends and edges. It might be, that might be easier. It just might be. since this is the first time I'm doing these kind of cards, I'm kind of learning something as I'm going here. But you do want that to happen. So just make sure. Okay, so again, that's good. That was just my prototype here, this was just my prototype to start me off. You can see here they are, here they are, here they are. They all are oriented the same way. And again, I'm just gonna go ahead and fold it from the corner to the corner here. I hope you can see that, maybe. And then right to the corner there so that I get that tip right in half. I always wet my fingers a little bit. Have you ever noticed your fingers getting dry on this stuff? I had so much dry fingers. Okay, this is good. So this is good. So this is good. This is what you want. Okay? Okay. All right. So now you have your 4 little pieces. Okay? Now, the name of this game is that we are simply going to attach these 4 little 1 by 3/4 by 1 by 3/4 cards on here. It's very easy, okay? So you've got your flap here, and all you're going to do is take it from edge to edge right there, and actually when you're done, you're gonna square it up with that whole half piece, all right? But you want to start here. So what you're going to do is you're going to glue it here, and then you're going to place your card right to the edge, and then you're going to make sure that it's edge to edge so that it comes out clean. That's kind of really important, so it comes out clean. All right, you want it really to be the other half of this pop-up, because what happens is when the card closes, that's what you're going to see. So you have to be careful with that so that it meets up so all the edges are clean. So we're going to do that for each of those. Again, you're just going to go ahead and glue this piece, and then take this piece and put it right up to the edge, and make sure that it's right up to the edge so that it meets everything. And if you have to move it just a little bit more, do that. Mostly the reason that you really even start just at that corner is so that you don't make a mistake of what you're gluing, if that makes any sense. But basically you just want to make sure that that piece really does fit nicely on top of this piece. All right, there we go. So there it is. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is, after this, is what you have to do is you are going to place your images on the center. So here it goes. So here you are. So you want your images right here in the center facing this corner, right? So on all of them, it's exactly the same way. You are going to take your card, you're going to place it up, and then your image is going to be centered, okay? So your image is going to end up right here in the center facing that corner, how it's propped up. Just make sure that when you do these, you prop them up before you put your image on so that you're aware of where you're going with this, okay? Matter of fact, that one, I had the wrong side. That's the prop-up side. Okay, so this is it. So you have to be careful with this paper. This one's weird because they're almost the same, and my lighting is not very strong so that you don't have glare, so it's harder for me to see. a little bit. So that would be like that. So that's the center of your picture, that's the center of your picture, that's going to be the center of your picture, right? And this seems silly for me to say this right now, but once you start doing it, you will understand. You get pretty disoriented pretty quick. It's kind of funny. And there is the center of that, okay? So you want to make sure that your picture is facing the corners. So, because of that, I know that my picture has to be right here, okay? So I went ahead and I took it here, and I see where it's supposed to be, and I lay my card down, and it's right there in the center. All right, and so that's where I'd put my image. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. We're going to actually stamp is what we're going to do, because I need to stamp these before I put them on. So I mentioned to you that we were going to stamp the lily pads, and I set it up so that we are ready to stamp these lily pads. I have them also all in an order in the same direction so that I go ahead and stamp them correctly. Basically all I'm going to do is center it and put it down. It really isn't bad. I hope that the lighting is working out for you and that that distance is better. I was thinking that that distance was a little far. Okay, I'm going to use the Blackberry Bliss is what I'm using to do this, and that's just because it's a dark color and it kind of blends with this. You see Blackberry Bliss is here anyway. And when I use anything, I always stamp off the first 2 times or something just to make sure that I'm in the ballpark and I'm not smearing stuff. So there you go. And I'm just going to go ahead and literally just center it, just look at it and center it, because I can see right through, and you can see how that did that, and then just let go. It really, is not very hard with this stamp in particular. See? And so just find your center. You can see it right through the, stamp. Opa. And last but not least, and there you go. All right, I'm going to close this up. So here we have our 4, so we're ready to go. As I said before, what we're going to do now is we're just going to make sure how this pops up. I am going to turn that light off because I think now we're going to have a glare. Well, maybe that's not so good. We'll go, sorry about that. Get my light back on. There you go. All right, so now what we're going to do again, as I said before, you want to make sure that you center your image, right? So this is my pop-up right here. This is my pop-up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to realize my center is right there. And so I'm going to glue everything right in this center on this one. And I'm going to do the exact same thing for each one. I pop it up, then look, then see where my center is. Since I know it's right here, I'm just going to go ahead and put that down. I'm going to simply take my Tombow and do the same thing 4 times. I'm going to show you the first one, and then go ahead and probably trim the tape so you do not have to see everything. Now this is the other piece. I want the pretty side up, the colorful side. So I'm going to go ahead, and the way I'm going to do this, of course, is I'm going to put a little Tombow down, and then all I'm going to do is just lightly, I usually go to the heavier spots and just kind of spread it. That's how I do it. People do it all kinds of different ways. This works for me. It has worked for me. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and put that lily flower right on that pad. And then I'm a go. And so what I've done then is I got my lily right in the center of my picture, and that's where I want it. And I'm going to do that 4 times. So here we are. I went ahead and glued all of these. Sorry, with my towels. So, yeah, that would be the backward side. See, that's the back side. Yep, it works. So anyway, so here are so there they all are. Again, all you have to do is make sure that you take it, and this is the side that you're going to fold it. So you're going to make sure that that faces, that glue popped up. You're going to make sure that it faces that corner. So it's in the center, so you have the right. And they're all facing that same direction. They're all facing the exact same direction. When you put them down, you can see here that at the end, I did that for each one, make sure that I popped it up and found the center, but it ends up in the exact same spot for each one, which is just fine. Now, the next part. Okay, we're ready. We're ready for finishing up this card. Just gonna put it here just to over here. All right, so now what we're going to do now, to make them so that they literally are all going around, okay, going around, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and make sure that when you place your card that your face always faces a corner. That's what you're doing. Your face always faces a corner. Always faces a corner. That's how you set up your cards. So you don't pay attention like how am I orienting this because it's 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, so it's a square, so it doesn't matter. So all you care about is that they're always facing a corner, which gives you that design. If you don't do that, then you would have the other design. I did it differently. I went ahead and made them face the same direction when they were flat, the same direction on each side. So what I did here then is that when you prop them up, they were both facing, and I'll show you this. So when I propped them up, they were facing both the exact same direction. See that difference? And so these were the same. These were going to face the same direction. They look more like they're facing straight out. All right, so you can see that. So anyway, so in this card, we're not doing that. We're going to go ahead and make sure that when they are propped up, that they are facing the corner. So the first one that I'm going to do is I'm going to put it this way. I'm going to glue it right here because, all right, I want it facing the corner. So that's where that one's going to go, all right? And and I really put it on the edge. It's really on the edge of the 4x4 sheet, okay? you really have just maybe an eighth, if that much. So I'm going to use this glue right now. And that is so that I can slip and slide. So that's going to be facing my corner. That's going to be right at that edge and right at this edge. I really want it at the edge. And that's what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to let it sit. Yeah? Okay? That's one. See? It's one. Now, the next one, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to take it and I'm going to make sure that however I position it, whatever I do, that when it's propped up, it's facing this corner. Okay? So it's facing this corner. And that's going to be facing that corner. You see it? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this back side. It looks almost like the front side. Make sure that I'm doing that right. Not. That's why this is a little, you can get easily confused, and you want to make sure that these two line up. So this is a little more forgiving because it's pattern on pattern, so it's hard to see if you make a mistake, which is kind of nice. So there's that, and there's that. See how that worked? So that's going to face that direction. Turn it again. Okay, towards you. Turn it like that. It's more towards you. And then again here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that when I put it in here, it's facing the corner. Again, it's facing that corner. See? So I'm going to go ahead and glue that back side. Again, it's pretty forgiving, those beautiful edges, but you want to kind of make sure that they follow the edges on everybody. There you go. There you go. There you go. It's really nice. And then finally our last one again, making sure that I'm going to put that down, put that down, I'm going to put that down so I can get that last one in. Making sure that when he's propped up, doesn't matter how I orient it, the most important thing is that that is facing that corner. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. Again, try to line that up with the other one. I'm going to bring that down. My lighting is not as good for me. It might be for you. I have to see this a little bit to make sure. I think that's good. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, so now when it lies flat, you can see it has that kind of orientation. Yeah? Just like the other one, wherever he went. Okay, so now the very last thing, okay, now this is pretty dark stuff, so what I'm going to do is I am going to use my, I hope I can find them, yay, I have my black dimensionals, and I do want to prop this up. Now, basically what I want to do and the way I want to prop it up is I don't need it real close. I kind of put it so that it'll prop it up, but it won't make it stand too far up. So you're going to have to play with that a little bit. for me, propping it up, I like to get it pretty close to that edge. And just look at this piece and see, I like it there. So it's actually pretty close to the edge if you look right there on this one. This is where I would like that one. So I would expect that I will be putting mine close to the edges here, right in the corner. All right, to keep that propped up. I am going to use the other side. I could center it more, but I think with the way this is, I'm going to center it right there at the corner, and it works real nicely with that because it is the same paper. It just blends in and you hardly see it at all, and it's just a flower, so it looks real nice. The flower, what I am going to do is I'm going to probably put the flower so that it's facing up, because that's what I'll do. I'm going to literally use 2 dimensionals on this because it does have to be pretty high propped up. So I'm going to do it that way. Stick 2 black dimensionals on there because this really works well. Again, that beautiful pick would really be helpful now. Okay. And again, what I'm going to do is just put it right in that corner and then prop it up that way. And then that'll look real cute. Right there in that little corner, all nicely propped up. And I think it's great. Reminds me of, this works out, the lilies coming from the water up. It's just a perfect card for this Lilly Impressions Designer Series paper. So I think it's great. Again, I'm just going to put those 2. I would never use so many, but because I want this to really prop it up and be strong, I'm going to use 2. Again, I'm going to find that top of that flower and pretty much put it in that corner, pretty tightly in that corner right there. And the other card, it was a little bit of a different spot. I think it's where it works. I think that's what you need to do. You have to be a little bit flexible on that one and just find out where the best place is for it to work. And that's what's important. I don't think that one's going to happen anymore. That one's having issues. Oh, there it goes. There you go. There. And there. Again, I will probably put that one up in the corner. Now with Jan's Brown's one, she puts them really up high, and I think that literally is because she uses a 6x6. And it's a bigger card, and they're floppier, maybe, because they are bigger, but with mine, definitely no need to have them go that high. She has to prop them up higher, so she takes that little dot and that little stop and puts it up much higher. And I have now done a few of these, and I have not found that at all to happen. I have found the opposite. So anyway, so here we are at the end of our card making event. And this is the card that is so cute with the little dots there, right? This is the card that I wanted to make you. Of course, on the inside, you could go ahead and definitely put a lily here with the lily pad, the big lily, or on here you could put the lily. That'd be really nice. It'll go in a standard card envelope, since it'll go in a standard envelope, which will be great. I think they're just delightful. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you will subscribe and see some more of mine. I try to use up things that would be helpful to us in terms of what paper we might have had extra of or things like that. I like to show you a little bit different ideas. I've only been doing this for about a year and only a demonstrator since September, so I'm fairly new, but I enjoy this so thoroughly. So please subscribe and like my video, and below I will put down the materials that were used. I will put down my link where you can purchase these materials. Well, these were mostly from the celebrations, except for the Roccoco Rose and the white paper and that, but the rest was pretty much from the celebrations catalog, so you can still order this and make these. These would be great cards. This would be great for a sorority party and making cards for someone, or some kind of event where you need to make a bunch of cards, and that would be kind of a fun one to make, I think. All right, I think that's about it, and I hope you enjoy crafting. Please leave me a note if you want at the very bottom, and I hope you have a great evening and happy crafting, and see you soon. Matter of fact, I might be seeing you this coming Monday. It is Tuesday, so in about a week I'll probably be putting something else out with my partner Hannah, so Hannah Bird. And so see you soon then. Bye-bye.